Good morning, everybody. And yes, sorry, I do slurp my coffee. Sorry about that. Oh, it is Bob with Mountain Crest Farms. How y'all doing this morning? Did you miss me yesterday? I missed talking to y'all. I got up yesterday morning, couldn't hardly put my right foot on the floor, much less put a boot on. I've got a bad habit. I don't do what I'm supposed to on some health issues, except for the cancer. I'm not the most compliant patient in the world, okay? I should be, but I'm not. And being a diabetic, you're supposed to keep a really good close eye on your feet, and anytime there's any problems at all, you're supposed to go to the doctor about it. Well, last Friday, my right foot got to hurting. Right about here on my foot, just behind the toe and right up on the edge. Got to hurting. It'll go away. That was my answer. It'll go away. So I ignored it. And it got worse on Saturday and worse on Sunday. I got up yesterday. No, yesterday was Tuesday. I got up Monday morning and it hurt. I still came out and shot a video. But it hurt. So I called the doctor, and they were able to get me in Tuesday. And Tuesday morning, I wasn't going to walk out here to do a video. My foot hurt too bad. I got a callus on it. I wear diabetic shoes. Well, no, I don't. I wear diabetic inserts in regular shoes. On a farm, diabetic shoes just don't cut it. So Wolverine makes a boot that is extremely comfortable anyway, and it's even more comfortable with diabetic inserts in them, so that's what I typically wear. That's what I have on my left foot right now. But supposed to keep an eye out for calluses and things like that, because diabetics, you can lose your feet pretty quick. And two things I don't want to lose, other than me totally, two things I don't want to lose is my eyesight and my feet. Anything in between I can deal with if I have to, but not my eyesight, not my feet. And I should take better care. I should pay attention better. I should have gone to the doctor. I should have gone to the emergency room Saturday. It started hurting Friday and it wasn't bad enough, but by Saturday I should have gone to the emergency room. But anyway, all of that is to tell you I wasn't here yesterday because I wasn't going to walk from the house out here to do my video, and I don't do videos in the house. We'll get into that sometime on a video, but I don't do videos in the house, and I wasn't walking out here. So I missed seeing y'all yesterday. I hope y'all missed seeing me. Maybe somebody just said, oh good, Bob didn't do a video. There's another 15 minutes I don't have to waste. But anyway, that's why I wasn't here. And oh, I forgot, I've got a weather report to do. It is clear blue sky. Almost. Well, there's right over here, the sun's behind some real wispy clouds to keep it from getting real hot. But for the most part, it's clear blue sky, but it's not going to be as hot today. Or it's temperature-wise, it's going to be within 3 or 4 degrees of where it's been, but humidity has dropped. Front came through last night, and it didn't take the heat with it, but it took the humidity with it. Thank you, God. Today's topic. I'm not going to complain about anything. I'm not going to whine. I'm not going to walk on the edge of being political. I'm not going to give you cryptic videos like that last one asking about alternative health without saying why. None of that stuff. I'm just going to actually do a video that's pretty good humor and not complaining, whining, or anything like that. In other words, not my typical video. And we got to take a break. Here comes a car. I'll be back in a second. I'm back. I'll be glad when they finish building those 2 houses and barn up the road. I'm tired of this thing looking like a freeway behind me. Get back to just normal people that live here. 2 more houses isn't going to add that many people, that much traffic, but building 2 houses sure is. Oh me. Today I want to yak with y'all about country sayings and country beliefs and the way country people do some things that people who live in the city or even in towns just don't understand, but makes perfect sense to us. And want some input from y'all, because I don't know if what I'm fixing to talk about is regional or if it's all over. And if anybody has any input on where this stuff comes from, I'd appreciate it, because what the examples I'm going to give, I have no idea where it started. One of them is, since this is firewood season and I'm back on the chainsaw, getting firewood for the winter, way late, brings up the first thing I wanted to talk about. An old farm saying, I don't know if this is a northern farm, a southern farm. All I know is an old farm saying is, if you want to stay warm with wood this winter, have it cut, split, stacked, and drying by April 1st. You know, that's way ahead. It doesn't take into account standing dead wood or live trees cut down. Doesn't take anything into account. All it says is, if you want to heat with it in the winter, have it drying, stacked and drying by April 1st. Where does that come from? That sounds northern. I mean, it really does, because it sounds like your winter's going to start early, which would be up north. Because down here, I can have stuff on the ground a good deal later than April 1st, and it's still good to heat with late in the winter. The stuff I get earlier, closer to April 1st, is what I start the winter with. And I usually end the winter with stuff that's gotten dramatically, that I've gone out and gotten it dramatically later than April 1st. So is this a northern thing? Has anybody else ever heard it? Or is that just a regional thing right here around me? You know, southern people, and I know this is southern. No, I don't know it is, but I think it is. We've got a weird way of describing. I got it right there. We've got a weird way of describing some things. If you ask a southerner, you know where Farmer Brown lives? They'll tell you, yeah, go down this road right here about, probably 2, 3, might be 5 or 6 miles, and you'll pass an old farmhouse on the left, and after you pass the farmhouse on the left, about 15 seconds later, you come to that last big oak tree, and there's a road right beside it. Take a left there, and he's down there on the right, about a half a mile. Now that sounds like good directions, right? Except for one thing. How do you know that was the last big oak tree? Maybe there's 5 more big oak trees past it. It might not be the last big oak tree. It might be the last one. But first you got to drive past it and go way on down the road far enough that you're comfortable that, okay, that was the last one. Then you got to go back to that oak tree and turn and go find Farmer Brown's house. We all do it down here. I don't know about where y'all from, but we all do it down here. But it just doesn't make any sense. How do you know that's the last? Go down there, turn left at the last big oak tree. How do you know it's the last big oak tree? And then there's the weather things. One of these I've heard for years, and I don't know if there's anything to it. And the other one, my wife just told me about it the other day. Of course, she's a country girl. I'm a townie. I'm not a city boy, but I'm a townie that moved to the country 20 years ago. She's country, pure and simple, all the way along. She was from a town that had about 200 people in it, and when she was 18, she moved to the big city. There was about 400 people there. The one that I've heard is Blackberry Winter. It'll start warming up. You think spring is here. You think the cold weather's over with. And somebody will say, nope, we hadn't had Blackberry Winter yet. Now again, I don't know if this is southern or if this is all over. But somebody will say, no, we hadn't had Blackberry Winter yet. And when I first started hearing that, I'm thinking, but I didn't ask. I didn't want to look stupid. What is Blackberry Winter? Well, my wife, Cindy, educates me quite often on country stuff that I'm embarrassed to ask anybody else. Still, even after 20 years. She said Blackberry Winter When you think it's warm, when you think winter's done, you've had your last cold snap, and now it truly is spring and it's going to be comfortable weather from here on out. If the blackberries haven't bloomed, if there's no blossoms on the blackberry bushes, you're going to have another cold snap. It's called Blackberry Winter. It's going to be cold one more time after blackberries blossom. Not necessarily bitterly cold, but your days of jackets being gone and short sleeve shirts every day are not here yet. That's Blackberry Winter. Last week, oh, if anybody knows the source of that, I'd like to know. The one that Cindy came up with last week, I had never heard this before, and I'm looking forward to this winter to check it out. Last week we had a morning that was kind of foggy, and she said, I hope we don't see much more fog. And I figured, okay, you don't want to see more fog because it's no fun driving in the fog. No, that wasn't her problem. That was, I forget what day last week, but it was the second time that it had been foggy this month already. And last week, we're talking about 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, long in there was the day it was foggy, and that was the second time this year, this August, it's been foggy. And I said, why, you don't like driving in the fog? She said, no, that's not the problem. I said, well, what's the problem? She said, however many mornings it's foggy in the month of August, that's how many snows you're going to have that winter. The number of foggy mornings in August predicts the number of times it's going to snow that winter. She said, yep. So I'm looking forward to this winter. I'm going to count the fogs. We've had 2 so far. I'm going to count the foggy mornings this month, and I'm going to count the snows this winter. I wish we'd have about 10 foggy days between now and the end of the month. Because normally we don't get, but I can remember in the last 20 years getting snow more than twice, perhaps 3 times, 2 times. It snowed 4 times one year. It has snowed 3 times, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. Usually it's 2 snows. We have 2 snows a year. One of them will be about 2 inches of snow, and the other one's usually about 6 inches of snow, and that's it. So we've had 2 foggy mornings. If we get 2 snows, she'll say, see, I told you so, and I'll say, 2 is what we always get, and there won't be anything settled about it. But since we normally get 2 snows, if it'll get foggy about 10 more times, at the end of this coming winter, she'll be able to see, I told you, 12 snows. Or I'll be able to say, see, we still only had 2 snows. That little country saying just doesn't work out. So hopefully I'll remember to update this at the end of winter and tell y'all whether or not that saying holds true. Is that saying just in the South? Have y'all, watching this all over the place, have you all heard that saying before, and have you found any truth in it? And what sayings, what habits, what odd country things, not odd to us that live in the country, but odd to city folk or even townies? What kind of stuff, stories do y'all have from where y'all are from? Mary Grace, I know up in New York, y'all probably have, you live. Mary Grace is from New York, but if you haven't been to her channel, number 1, you need to go there. Her channel is Nonna Grace, Nonnagrace, all one word. And she is from New York, but she is not even close to New York City. She's way, way, way out there in western New York. I'm sure she's out in the country. I'm sure they've got some different country sayings or habits that we'd like to hear about. So if you're like Nonna Grace and you live in the country someplace other than North Georgia, or even you folks in North Georgia, I'm sure you've got stuff that I've never heard before. Weigh in the comments. What's uniquely country about where you're from or your situation? Never can tell. You might be providing me with fodder for a video. That way I don't have to think it up myself. If you do, thank you ahead of time. Well, folks, that's about it today. Not going to be a real long video. Looks like we're going to wind up at about 14, 15 minutes. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day. I'm going to. Number one, it's not going to be as hot. The temperature is going to be hot, but the humidity is way down, and it's not going to be as hot. The air conditioning is not working right, but it's working better than it before I tinkered with it the other day. And I'm not going to tell you what I did to make it better. Y'all will be saying, Bob, you didn't do that already? Well, so I'm not going to tell you what the problem was. But anyway, I'm going to have an awesome day. And I'd feel terrible if I had an awesome day. Well, no, I wouldn't, because if I have an awesome day, I won't feel terrible. I wouldn't like it if I had an awesome day and y'all didn't. So y'all go have an awesome, fantastic day. And always remember those two things, because these help you have an awesome, fantastic day. Number one, the tomb was empty. Number two, he is alive. And I left this out, but down there in the bottom, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs down requires a comment telling me why. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the little bell so you get notifications. And I guess, because it's always the last thing I do, I need to remind you. Number one, the tomb was empty. Number two, he is alive. Y'all go have a fantastic day. I'll see y'all later.